All right, all right, all right. Hello, all you beautiful people out there in YouTube land. Welcome to episode 12 of the XBL Party USA show. I'm your host, K.Y Bob, joined by my co hosts, Power Man 4K, Slayer exclusive, and, well, we're doing something for the first time ever tonight. We are giving away 2 copies of this glorious game that Bob is unfortunately addicted to, literally on screen right now. And we'll do it at 2 different times during the show. After the intros, we'll ask people in the chat to put in the number 1. And then a half hour after that, we'll ask them to put in the number 2. So stick around for 45 minutes and you're entered in, and I will do the drawing right on screen with a random name picker. Power Man, tell me, what have you been playing, and how do you feel about Sony owning Halo now?
Yeah, I was devastated. It really is going to suck. I mean, I was, finishing up some stuff on Halo, and I'm just, I'm counting down the days till they snatch it off the Xbox, and um, I never get to see Master Chief again unless I'm watching Paramount Plus. It's going to be a sad day. But in all seriousness, man, I don't know. I've been playing a lot of different stuff. I was playing Halo. I was finishing up some fobs, some operating bases, and collectibles, stuff like that. Just kind of knocking some of that stuff out, and then I started playing. I know this is a weird one, but I started playing Immortals: Phoenix Rising. I got that. For the cheap, so I was like, okay, cool. I'll check this out. Not a bad little game. You know what I mean? Pretty cool. Kind of like a stylized. Um, I don't really know how to describe it. It's like open world, but you like this girl who, all the gods die, and you got to save them, basically, kind of thing. So you get all the powers of the different gods, and um, the whole time the interesting part is like Zeus and Prometheus are like narrating it. So it's a little goofy, but I like it. It's pretty fun. Kids like watching it, so that's a win. You know what I mean? They like watching me figure out the puzzles and stuff. So other than that, man, that's pretty much it. Kind of working on my Destiny 2 stuff, getting ready for Witch Queen. But other than that, I'm good, man.
Really? Witch Queen?
Oh yeah. Gotta do it, man.
I really liked Destiny 1, and I was pumped for Destiny 2, and then they killed Cade 6, and I was like, yeah, nope, can't do it. Nope.
Yeah,
my favorite character and killed
I
him.
feel like I feel like they regret that. You know what I mean? Like they definitely killed off the character with like the most like memorable takes, and he was funny, and he was cool, and he had a lot of story behind him, and then they left us with kind of boring Zavala, and I don't even know what the Warlock girl is doing half the time. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
be cool to see them like add some new characters, or maybe like expand on that. But I don't know. I like the game. The aesthetic of the game is cool, and it can be addicting. I don't play it like I used to. I played the shit out of Destiny 1, but um, other than that.
Yeah. I've been playing because you see they brought that what was it, the Tensu event back on Halo Infinite, which has got like 30 different levels.
Yeah.
And I was only on level 12, and I'm like, oh, I got time to finish it. I got 3 days to get 17 levels.
Wow.
It's the only event I haven't finished yet. But
wait,
Slayer exclusive.
Isn't that event going to come back though? I think you're good. I don't think you have 3 days because it's going to come back like once or twice more, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, it's come back twice already, hasn't it? Because they went to the Cyber Showdown, and then they did that other one.
Yeah, I think this is the 3rd time. So I think there's one more. I think there's one more time that'll come back, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know what else they do because it's the only event that I haven't finished, and the other 2 events only had 10 levels. So everybody got those pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think they did it on purpose because like they wanted people to basically have like an extra week to do it, because I feel like they kind of messed up when the event first came out, because that was like when the challenges were still kind of crappy. So I believe when they made the changes to the challenges, that's when they said, okay, guys, we'll bring back the event for one more week, but so we'll give you an extra week basically to kind of make up for it.
Yeah. So what have you doing, Slayer? I mean, where were you when your heart broke and you found out that Sony owns Halo now?
Well, first off, I want to say, going back to what Power Man 4K was talking about, that game, the Phoenix Rising game, I'm still mad at myself for not playing that game yet because that game looks like it's right up my alley. And I've always thought of that game as basically a crossover between Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Breath of the Wild, Zelda.
Literally, dude. Good. That's excellent, dude. You nailed it. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, and then like that game, it just looks awesome. Like I love the graphic style. I love the art style. I love just everything about that game. So that you talking about it kind of makes me want to play it now.
Oh,
But,
they have a deluxe edition right now that's on sale on Xbox for like $20.
nice.
Like,
All right.
and 15 for the base game.
Oh hell yeah! I mean, why wouldn't you get the deluxe one then? It's only
Yeah,
$5.
yeah. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. But yeah, KY Bob, what else? Just like you asked. Pretty much when that news broke, I was at work, and honestly, it did not bother me at all. Even though we didn't know whether Bungie's games were gonna go exclusive or not, because I used to play Destiny, kind of like you. I stopped way before you even because it's not my kind of game. I'm not a shooter person. I prefer RPGs over anything else. And like pretty much every other game other than like I'm not really into shooters. And so yeah, so like even though like when they said okay, it's not going to be exclusive, I'm like all right, cool. But yeah, didn't really bother me any. But like I don't know why people are saying that Halo is gone. Like that's kind of crazy.
Well, it just goes to show you how much a certain fan base really pays attention to the other. I mean, as an Xbox, centric fan, and I like my PlayStation games too. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, I know everything that's going on PlayStation side with developers and IPs, just like I do Xbox. I don't feel like it's that same way with most of the other side of the aisle because a lot of them still actually thought that Bungie was running Halo, and it hasn't been that way for over 10 years.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. No, you see,
wow.
well, my thing is that when I read the news, the price jumped out at me because I was like, this seems like a little much. Like I was literally the first person to be like, this they kind of overpaid because like when you think about it, Microsoft paid what was it like 8 billion for Bethesda and all of those properties. So it's like you literally got how many 15 studios around there with like I don't know 20 IPs or whatever, like 20 different games for that much, and then now you're basically buying one studio that
pretty close.
has only access to one game, technically one franchise for half that. Like that's crazy, man. And like and then they revealed that that they actually tried to sell themselves to Microsoft, which is kind of funny when you think about like this how this whole thing started with Bungie. Like because like they wanted their independence, which is why they left Microsoft in the first place. Then they teamed up with Activision, which was a terrible idea, as history has shown. And then they went independent, and now they're not independent anymore. So it's like they wanted their independence, but now they went back to being owned by somebody. So it's like there must have been something bad, something must be going wrong for them to have wanting to sell to somebody,
Hey, shout out to Noof Nukem in the chat. What's going on, buddy?
How's it going?
Hey, Noof. We're short today, Noof. We're real short. Just the originals here.
Yeah, we got the OGs,
Yeah.
Started it all.
Jeez.
I can't wait to talk about this stuff, man. Let's jump into these topics. I'm excited about it.
Okay. So, I just want to start off by saying if you want in on the game giveaway, right now is the time for you to put the number 1 in the chat. We're done with intros. And I'll put your name in the name generator. And in a half an hour, I'll ask for number 2. If you're still here, then we'll draw. All right.
And we'll do several little key offs, you know what I mean, just in case we have some late joiners or whatever. So that way it's just fair. I think if anybody jumps in, we can have them, keep doing the one and whatever. What do you think, Bob?
Oh yeah, sounds good to me. Thimber's in.
Okay.
So let's see. Where should we start? So everybody was waiting to see Sony's answer. And I'm not really impressed because I believe they, as Slayer was saying, they overpaid for a one IP developer. It was basically Bungie selling the Halo IP to Microsoft that gave Bungie the money to make Destiny. And that's all they've done. Now, I've heard rumors of an IP in the background that maybe Sony has seen, but I'm guessing that Microsoft probably seen it too. And when their $2 billion offer was shot down by Bungie, Microsoft said, I'm not giving you any more money. You're not worth it. And then they found Sony to give them 3.6, which I believe is too much. So I don't think it's just not enough. Not when you consider all the studios that were got by Bethesda and by the Activision acquisition. Say that 5 times fast. Yeah, it's not what I was expecting. I was expecting a Square Enix. I was expecting a Capcom. I was expecting something big. Instead, it's Bungie. So I don't think it has anything to do with the IPs. I think it has to do with Bungie's structure and the way because we all know that PlayStation is lacking any first-person shooters, and Bungie's got the best shooting mechanics on the planet. Unfortunately, they like to kill off favorite characters, so screw you, Bungie. And they've been running a live service game for a decade. And that is what Sony needs. So if anything, I believe it's the talents and the technology that Sony is really after, and not really so much the IPs. But what do you think, Power?
Okay, so all right, I got a lot to say here. Okay, so first things first, I played a lot of Destiny, right? I played a lot of Destiny. I've got thousands of hours into this game. I was, kind of bleeding edge raider. I did all of the end game content from basically like it came out in 2014. From basically the time it came out, I was in the beta, and from that on, I mean, it pretty much dominated my Xbox for a long time, right? So if you played Destiny on Xbox in the last generation, you know that Destiny had a deal with Sony, right? So if you're on the Sony side, you literally got extra strikes and guns and skins and whatever, right? Whatever it is that they decided could be specific exotic weapons, for instance, that would be locked behind the PlayStation side, and it had a timer on it. So it was a year most of the time, and then sometimes they would drop in the newest DLC. So when I saw the news that it happened, first off, I was a little bit shocked and a little scared at first, because I was like, that I do play that game, so like that game going exclusive to PlayStation would have hit pretty hard. But when I saw that it was multiplat, it really it kind of shocked me. I do feel that PlayStation wanted this game to be exclusive, and I think that Bungie probably opted for it not to be. They've had this culture of Destiny everywhere for a long time, basically since they put the game on PC. I agree. 3.6 billion is absolutely. I love the game. I love Destiny, and 3.6 billion is just too much. My guess is Sony is doing exactly what they were talking about in their interview. This is not about exclusivity. This isn't about getting a game or trying to fill a hole, right? This is about acquiring a studio and a network and a group of people who know how to do shooters and they know how to do live services, right? So Sony knows deep down that at the end of the day, their live service games or their lack thereof is a major hole in their portfolio. They got the single player stuff down, and that's what they do. That's kind of their niche. That's what they're good at. They're very self aware, and I kind of applaud Sony for being willing to go out there with Jim and say, hey, listen, like we're going multi-plat, knowing full well that their fan base is probably not going to be okay with that and be kind of upset about it, to be honest. And also too, to spend that kind of money and not really gain any quote unquote console exclusivity or reasons to really buy a PlayStation, because this thing isn't going anywhere. It's not leaving PC. It's not leaving Xbox. It's probably still going to stay on Stadia, for God's sake. So I don't know. Maybe this is a future thing. And like I said, I really think the focus is on live services. And really, I think Sony just wants to gather manpower that knows how to make a live service game. Because what we don't know is, who knows if they can't just pull some people off, put them on another team and say, hey, listen, we want you guys to make a live service survival action shooter, for Sony. You know what I mean? And they're even incentivizing people at Bungie, and I think 1.2 billion of that money is actually going towards the employees to keep them there. Apparently that's a pretty common practice, but that's a lot of money, and that really shows they want to keep everybody on that. You know what I mean? It really shows Sony's push towards multiplayer, and honestly, I'm pretty excited about it. One more thing before I let you guys speak. I'm sorry I have a lot to say, but I am actually excited about this because Sony acquiring Destiny. One comment that really stuck out to me was that they're going to branch out with the Destiny franchise outside of just games, right? They were talking about movies, TV shows, and I don't know if you guys ever paid attention to like the live action commercials and stuff like that for Destiny, but they were always really cool. Like, I loved them. You know what I mean? I always got really excited with every DLC drop, like seeing those live action with the armor and everything else. So, hey, who knows? If we could get a show that's maybe that Halo quality, Paramount Plus, or another Mandalorian style Hunter show that could be made by Sony, because we know Microsoft isn't going to make that kind of stuff, at least not in house. You know what I mean? But Sony does have an advantage. They have movies, media, stuff like that. So interesting to see. I don't, as far as like if you're talking console wars, there's nothing to see here. I see a lot of people trying to hype this stuff up and make it seem like it's some kind of grandiose blow to Microsoft. And I'm telling you, if that's the knockout blow, they better go back into the gym, because that ain't the one. I promise you. But I'm done, guys. What do you guys think?
Yeah, so I mean, I was gonna say kind of basically the same thing. Like, for me, it's really more about three things, and you pretty much touched upon all of them. So, like, number one is the live service expertise. I feel like that's their plan. I mean, like, I don't know if you saw the article, but it's pretty much everywhere at this point where Sony's trying to like get into that game, and they're trying to like release, like, how many was it, like 10 live service games over the next couple, like 4 or 5 years. So they're really trying to like push that next, since they got the single player games down. And the other thing for me was the movies, right? Like, that's another thing that they're really good at, because they have the whole Sony movie division. So they're trying to push that out as well. And and kind of Thimber gave me this idea now where he's talking about Killzone. I mean, I don't know if that game is ever making a comeback, but like there are other studios that Sony has that try to do like shooting mechanics, and I feel like this acquiring Bungie is going to make that expertise go into those games. So hopefully those games are better. And yeah, I mean, we all know that Destiny's not going to be exclusive, but whatever other titles that they have, that they're going to be coming out with, that those are probably going to be exclusive. But like, who knows what those are going to be like, if they're ever going to come out anything other than Destiny. What I'm kind of afraid of, though, to be honest with you, and I mean, just for the sake of like, I guess, Destiny itself and the community, is I wonder if them having this, like now focus on live service games, and since they're going to need Bungie's expertise on this, I wonder if they're going to basically take some of those staff members and pull them from that project so that they could have them focus on their projects, the other, the other live service project they're going to be working on. And that's going to take away from Destiny's development. I wonder if that's going to happen. So that's kind of what worries me right now.
That was muted. Damn. Not only the Killzone idea, but I miss Resistance too. I enjoyed Resistance. And that's a storied franchise from PS3 that needs to be revitalized. So anything from the shooter genre that Bungie can help Sony with, I'll be very pleased with. And Noof Nukem, dude, what were you doing when you found out Sony owned Halo?
That's probably rubbing one out in the bathroom, but yeah. What's going on, guys? Boom, boom, kaboom. Good to be here. Thanks for the invite. Appreciate it.
Anytime, brother.
Not a problem.
You know what? In all seriousness, when did I find out? It was, I'm pretty sure it was in the morning, as normal. Checking my Twitter feed. Come across as Bungie's been bought by obviously Sony and the PlayStation division. The long and short of it is I definitely think it's overpriced, but that's overpriced today. Who knows? In 5 or 6 years, it could have been the biggest steal of Sony's, prestigious acquisitions. We obviously saw how when they bought Insomniac, now looks like the biggest deal in gaming history. But, the thing is, at the time, when we look at the Insomniac versus Bungie, Bungie's legitimately, guys, the thing is, Bungie's made one game since Halo Reach. That's been Destiny and Destiny 2, which is, the same franchise, right? So, to pay close on $4 billion for a company that's essentially made one hit game since Halo seems to be quite a lot. But as I heard you guys saying, you're totally right. It's about paying for the tech. It's about paying to have instant credibility when it comes to the online space and having a company that knows how to make successful online games, and certainly the shooter genre, which is obviously the hottest genre of game on the planet. It's a little bit of a FU to Microsoft, because it is Bungie that essentially the team and the franchise that helped elevate Microsoft to the status that they have today. Is now owned by them. Much like it was a little bit of a dig to get Crash Bandicoot now under an Xbox banner and umbrella with their latest deal. So, it's a nuts deal. There's a lot to work out. There's a lot to comprehend, but I think we know what they're going for. And I think it's definitely a great move on their part. And the reason, like I said, Insomniac looks like a steal because Insomniac has been making great games and nobody can dispute that. But the thing is, Insomniac didn't have a lot of games that were multiplayer hits. And we all know that it's the multiplayer hits that can bring in the big bacon, right? Epic Games wasn't doing amazingly well up until, they came up with Fortnite and made it a free-to-play model. And look at where that's gone, right? Now, you could probably pay $20 billion now for Epic Games the way things have gone there. Probably, I don't even know what they're valued at, but it is what it is, man. And I think it's a great move by Sony, and I don't think it's we hear some people saying it's a reactionary measure to Xbox, and it's not the least, because those deals don't happen overnight. This is something they've had in the works for a while, and maybe the announcement was reactionary. Perhaps they wouldn't have announced the fact that they bought Bungie up until the fact that Microsoft made their big announcement. So we know that Sony is notorious for every time Xbox comes out and does something, they try to steal its thunder. They do this every freaking time that Xbox doesn't announce it. They come up with something, but they obviously fall flat on their face a lot of times, because they try to do that when Xbox bought Activision Blizzard, they came up with some real weird announcement like the next day, and you're just kind of like, that's pretty lame. But yeah, no, it's an amazing deal, and it's about time. It's about time that Sony realizes that if they want to compete and they want to start making some real money and stop counting the consoles sold and gloating about that they got to start getting into the game. They got to start doing the same things that Microsoft are leading with. Love it or like it, that Microsoft's leading the charge and the industry is following suit.
Yeah, this is true. And another topic that I want to bring up is, so we've all seen the 5-part Xbox documentary. And even before then, I had seen what Halo first looked like when Bungie showed it at the Apple show. And they're two totally different games. So if Microsoft hadn't stepped in and steered that IP in the direction that it became on the Xbox, Halo may have never been, because what I saw at the Apple show that Bungie had come up with, it just looked to me like a different twist on a real-time strategy game. It wasn't really groundbreaking or what Microsoft steered it into. So I don't know. They may not even have done Halo the way it was, or done Destiny. It's just what it is. And Microsoft built Bungie. As much as people don't want to agree, we saw what Bungie was before, and then Microsoft got a hold of them, and it made the Xbox.
Yep.
The Xbox would not have been what it was without the Halo that Microsoft had
Absolutely
Bungie
right.
create.
Bungie laid the foundation, but Microsoft built the house.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Yep.
And it was the money that Microsoft gave Bungie for the Halo intellectual property that Bungie turned around and used to make Destiny. So, I mean, where's Microsoft's cut in that?
Yeah, I mean,
But I do.
It's going to be interesting to see, man. I didn't mean to cut you off, Bob, but like I wanted
You're
to
good.
say, like, it just really goes to show, you know, man, who would have guessed in 2022 to see the moves that we're seeing in the gaming industry? If you would have told me 5-10 years ago that Sony was going to make a $3.6 billion acquisition and it was going to stay multi-plat, I would have called you insane. I would have said it would never happen in a million years, you know? And if you told me that Xbox was going to acquire Activision Blizzard for a cool $69 billion, you know, I probably would have said the same thing, man. It really goes to show that not only is the console space, but gaming in general is just on high alert, man. Like all these major companies are looking at the field and seeing that, okay, this stuff's printing money and we got to find a way to make that happen, you know? And I agree with Noof, like they're you know, Sony is finally, I think, waking up and realizing that, hey, we can't just sit here and count boxes anymore. You know what I mean? Like our metrics need to change. And coincidentally, their metrics are turning into what Microsoft has been doing since roughly 2017, whenever Game Pass counted out, and they were started focusing more on monthly active users and specific metrics that were changing over the course of like the last 5 years, right? Microsoft, even being third in revenue and third in sales, is, like you said, leading the charge, and people are literally following suit. Sony has no choice but to respond to this. You know what I mean? They needed to, and maybe they probably knew or heard, because, you know, these higher wigs, you know, they talk and things happen. You know, so they probably knew. They say, hey, we don't know exactly what's going on over there, but we know Xbox is doing something big, and we need to start talking to people, you know, and that's probably what they started doing. You know, I heard that, if I'm not mistaken, I heard that Bungie had approached Microsoft, and I guess that they couldn't come to an agreement on the price and what have you. And I think that Microsoft probably right now, in my opinion, they probably have a little bit more leverage, right? Like I feel like that Sony needed Bungie more than Microsoft needed Bungie, you know?
Correct.
And that's just a fact, you know, and kudos to them. I hope it works out, and hopefully it can keep funding. You know, I hope that Destiny thrives under Sony. I hope that they still continue. It seems like they will, but continue to have the independent freedom to kind of make the game that they want to make. And, you know, they do have a very, they have a passionate community, you know, sometimes for the negative, sometimes for the positive, but, you know, they just dropped a piece of art on Twitter. 1 million people have pre-ordered the Witch Queen, and the deluxe edition is $100. You know what I mean? So it just goes to show that there's a market out there for those people, and they're buying it, you know?
You know, when I saw Jim Ryan's announcement about the acquisition of Bungie, the way when I read it, I stepped back and I said, "Oh, Ryan, you know Phil wrote that for you." Because I mean, whenever has PlayStation ever acquired anything and then come out and said this studio will stay completely independent and they have the choice to publish to whatever platform they see fit? I'm like, oh no, that's not what you were saying. Not even a month ago. What the hell?
That was probably in the contract. If I'm
it led me to believe that maybe they are being this nice guy because they are so terrified that if they piss Microsoft off, Call of Duty is going bye-bye.
Maybe.
That's a great point.
Yeah,
that's a great point, because I think if anything else, this is a leveraging tool. And perhaps, you know what, the insiders at Sony, perhaps Microsoft was already well into the middle of these deals. I mean, don't tell me that people within studios that know other people at studios don't talk and don't let the cat out of the bag sometimes. Maybe it doesn't get out to the public, but that doesn't mean that perhaps Sony didn't know about what Microsoft was doing months ago in advance. And then, like I said, as they're tooling through this deal, I mean, ultimately what does Bungie care realistically about their IPs going on? Like, as a studio, why do you really care if your shit goes multiplat? As long as you have control of the IPs and nobody's forcing you to make like X number of games in a certain franchise. Because that was the problem with Bungie to begin with. They didn't want to be known as just the Halo maker, and that was the franchise they were going to be stuck with for the rest of their game developing careers. They wanted to branch out. The ironic part is, they went out and made what? A space shooter in the vein of Halo called Destiny. And of course, Activision was the ones, I think, who certainly relegated the games as a service model for that franchise more than letting it be more of a set-top piece like Halo. And I don't disagree with that move, but you're totally right, because I think this is a leverage and procedure as well. They didn't want to come out and ultimately would have made all of the PlayStation fans super happy, or at least the fanboy versions. Hey, Destiny is going to be exclusive for here on. All the DLC is going to be exclusive, and any other future property is going to be exclusive. Yes, they would have had a field day. But right now, Microsoft's got not just Sony, but they've got the industry almost by the balls. They've got now some of the biggest publishers underneath their wings. And you're not talking about just Call of Duties. You're talking about the potential of World of Warcraft. You're talking about stuff like the next Elder Scrolls 6, like massive franchises that they can literally, if they choose, keep off competing platforms and to help boost Game Pass. And we don't know how that's going to play out, but it sure is nice that knowing that, Xbox has got the big dog in the fight right now, and everybody else is on the outside looking in, and they've got the upper hand, and the other people have to play it very carefully, because Sony knows this is a turning point in their business model. Excuse me. And if they want to play, if they want to come, to the big boy yard here, because I'm not saying that they're small and that they're insignificant. They still got an amazing company. They got a great fan base. But Microsoft is not messing around anymore. They're throwing serious coin out there, and people are taking notice. And this is a shot over the bow at Apple and Amazon and anybody else that wants to get into this gaming racket. They know that they're going to have to contend with Microsoft. Microsoft isn't about counting the damn consoles anymore. That's something that they realized they had to move away from, because it just wasn't going to happen. So they had to stick their eggs in this basket, and it seems to be striking gold. They know subscriptions is where it's at. Netflix figured it out. Streaming services are figuring it out. So gaming is not much different. The games, obviously the medium is a little bit different, but the way we consume it is very similar, and subscriptions are the way, and the Game Pass is killing it right now. And it's going to continue to get even better. And Microsoft, like I said, man, they're not messing around, and Sony is having to change their business model. Otherwise, they're going to find themselves hurting real bad.
When you say upper hand that Microsoft has, I mean, the ball has always been in their court. The only reason Bungie was available for acquisition is because Bungie said, hey, Microsoft, we would like to work on something besides Halo. Mm-hmm. And Microsoft, that old set in its ways, being run by Don Matrick, said no, Halo only. And that's when Bungie said, oh no, we got to buy ourselves out of here. No. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, Destiny would have always been an Xbox product. if they had just done what they're doing now in the world of that Phil Spencer runs, letting developers follow their passions and work on their own projects that they want to do. So, I mean, it is what it is. I'm glad to see that Sony's going to have, maybe we're going to get a good first person shooter on the PlayStation now. I know that.
Mm-hmm.
But Microsoft, you screwed the pooch 10 years ago.
Well, I mean, think about this. Whenever they were, you know, just a little while ago, Bungie was with Activision. You know what I mean? So if this deal had been accelerated, we might be living in a world where Destiny and Call of Duty would have been under the Xbox umbrella. You know what I mean? Kind of crazy to think about. You know.
Well, and you know, and that actually, I believe, because I remember reading all about that. That because Microsoft was always very nice to Bungie, other than them not letting them pursue Destiny. But so when they bought themselves out from underneath the Microsoft umbrella, and they became an independent developer, they found out how rough it is out there when they got in bed with Activision, and Activision bent them over.
Yeah.
So I honestly, after that fallout, I was expecting Bungie to come, and you know, and we saw it too. We saw Destiny was starting to hit Game Pass, and it looked like they were getting chummy again. I was like, yeah, see, they've seen what life's like outside of Microsoft. Now they're coming back home to daddy.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
it just
the head
never
of
came to
Bungie and
fruition.
Phil, they play Destiny all the time. They're pretty good friends, and Destiny is one of Phil's favorite games. You know, so he loves that. You know, I did want to share this quick little bit. I wanted to talk about, you know, because when I was speaking about monthly active users, it really goes to show where Microsoft was looking at. It says that Activision Blizzard King now has over 370 million players active per month. That is insanity. That's just insanity. And now think about what your shareholder meeting is going to look like when you can say that you have somewhere between 400 and 500 million monthly active users on your platforms. You know what I mean?
I'm telling you, they found a way to get your mother, your father, and your grandmother on Xbox.
Yes,
platform.
King. I'm telling you, King was the absolute Trojan horse of this deal, and people are overlooking it because, you know, we're hardcore gamers. We're focused on the, you know, the TV, the controller, the Xbox, you know, what this. But think about all the people that are playing these King games and what that could mean for like the mobile market in the future. That's just mind blowing, man. To me, it's probably one of the top, if not the top. The only thing I think would top that would be, you know, maybe World of Warcraft with its monthly subscriptions. You know what I mean? I think that's another big one. And I do think that it's time to bring that to console, you know. Hopefully we'll see a port of that stuff.
So what do you think, Slayer? Do you think this was a move to incentivize Microsoft to play nice with this Activision Blizzard acquisition and the IPs and what platforms they could be on?
I honestly don't think so. I think that, you know, Sony is, you know, I think that they're really just trying to, like, you know, leverage the experience that these, you know, that Bungie has for the live services and for the you know, and for the movies. I mean, there was like an article that I read that apparently this deal was made way before they knew about the Activision deal. So I mean, even though that, you know, both parties may have known about each other's deals, you know, the potential of both of the deals, I don't think that I don't think that's really has anything to do with that. I think they're just both, you know, like they're at a point where they're trying to just, like, you know, fight against. I think we mentioned this last week, where we said, you know, that they're both trying to, like, all these companies are trying to, like, you know, get more talent just because of the fact that, you know, they know that down the line in the future there's going to be a lot more competition with regards to Apple and Google and probably Facebook, you know, in terms of the gaming space. So, you know, I think they're just trying to, like, solidify their place in the world. And yeah, I mean, it could have been. There's obviously always a chance that it may have been that they're just trying to like say like, okay, here you go. Look, if you guys screw us over on Call of Duty or whatever, then we can screw you over on Destiny. But at the same time, I don't think they would do that, especially since they promised, that they're not going to do that. They're not going to make the games exclusive. So I feel like the community would have would be in an uproar, and they don't want that backlash. So I think we've learned over the past couple of years, what that can do. Like look at the reputation, hit that it had for like CD Projekt Red with Cyberpunk. That was terrible, and their reputation is now pretty much in the crapper. And it's going to take a while for them to build it back. So,
but let me ask you guys this: why wouldn't they just take that couple $1 billion and invest it into, say, something like Insomniac or one of their studios, and say build a second one underneath their tutelage, and basically made another Resistance or SOCOM or all these games that we keep talking about, like, invested in a studio within themselves. They keep talking about they love how they're organically grown, build something. They should have enough experience here that somebody knows how to build a really good game. You know what I mean? It's not like Killzone was just terrible. It just didn't strike the same nerve. So, they could have saved a lot of money, built from the inside out, and made a game. But do you think it's just because Bungie is synonymous with a couple of the biggest shooters? You think is that why? Whereas most people, like especially kids these days, outside of us, we probably know Resistance or Killzone, but would a regular kid know anything about Killzone or Resistance?
Yeah,
No.
I think it's the the popularity of Destiny, but it's also the fact that Bungie has proven to be like one of the few studios that knows how to make a live service game. There's not many games that have come out in recent years, that were live services that didn't flop. Like there's only a few of them that actually succeeded. Like, other than Destiny, I want to say Fortnite, and maybe I'm forgetting like one more, that they're like the only ones that actually have succeeded in what their goal was, to be a good live service game that people repeatedly come back to. Like there's not a lot of them out there right now, and I think that's what they're trying to leverage. That's the main thing in my opinion.
Yeah. I love this term organic growth being thrown around, because the only thing organic about these acquisitions is the color of the money that's being thrown at the developers to buy them. Organic growth is when you have something that is pure, that is already a studio or a studio created by the people that own them, and they grow. That is organic growth. This is just buying shit, to be honest with you. But they call it organic growth. I don't know. I guess that makes them feel better. But
well, I mean, that's Sony. That's Sony's marketing speak. You know what I mean? And the whole thing that they're doing is just it was, that whole term. Remember that came through with the acquisitions that Microsoft making. You know what I mean? It was like a response to them. A lot of the media kind of saying, okay, well, what are you going to do? Oh, we grow our studios in house, and we're organically, moving them forward. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, they're like, oh my God, what are we going to do? Like, let's think of something. We got to start making a plan. Like, I'm sure there was a whiteboard somewhere with a lot of plans on it, on what they need to do to start making some moves happen against Microsoft. You know what I mean? And I think that this is probably maybe like the first major step towards it. All over Twitter, I'm seeing that there are rumors that they're not done, and that apparently there's some that's, I guess, towards the final stages of negotiation. I believe, shout out to Jeff Grubb. I think he tweeted that. So, he's got a pretty good track record. I like his stuff. So we'll see if that plays out. I guess my question to the panel, since we're talking about it, is what do you think Sony's next move is after this?
I do want to speak on this, because I've seen crazy rumors on Twitter about, well, what if Sony does this and what if Sony does that? You have to look at this in two different sides of the window. You have the side of Xbox, where Phil Spencer literally runs He's running the joint. Okay. I guarantee you that Jim Ryan doesn't have half the power in Sony that Spencer has in Xbox.
Mhm.
So you've got these developers like Take-Two, and I've seen right now Ubisoft is only valued at a little under $7 billion, but you have to take into account the future worth. So to actually buy Ubisoft and everything Ubisoft has, you're talking about $18 billion. And I'm telling you right now, Sony is not going to spend that. The shareholders are not going to go out and spend that kind of money. I'm surprised we saw an almost $4 billion acquisition for Bungie, only having one active IP. Sony is not going to spend them. They're not going to spend this crazy money that Phil has been given free reins to spend. And that's the difference. You're not going to see a huge monumental acquisition by Sony. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Because the people that are in control of that money aren't going to spend it. We're not talking about Phil is a gamer. He understands us and he knows what he likes and what's going to build his brand. And he's got a subscription service to pad up with content. Sony doesn't even have that yet.
Mm-hmm.
So no big amount of money is going to be spent on Sony's side. It's just not going to happen. You may see we may see another acquisition for a couple billion, but you're not going to see anything on the, at the level of Bethesda. Definitely nothing on the level of Activision and Blizzard.
Mm-hmm. And Microsoft's not done either, but they're done for now, but they're definitely not done. They will get something else too.
Thimber in the chat. Yes, Thimber, I loved this game. Please give me another one. Oh, every time I play a first-person shooter, I think about the announcer that would go monster kill after you got 8 kills in a row. It was great. It was so awesome.
I would say, man, Unreal Tournament or Quake, either one of those, fully refreshed for like the new generation consoles would be absolutely amazing. But to speak on your point, I do, I agree. I don't think that we're a little spoiled right now, right? Because like. I feel like we got dropped in a random day in January. We got dropped probably the most monumental gaming news that is probably going to happen for the next 10 years. So sitting here trying to think about, okay, well, what could they do competitively to respond to that? I don't think that there's an equal response to this. I don't think that they have the resources to say, okay, well, can we go get something like EA or something like Take-Two or anything like that could maybe put a serious dent. And we also have to remember that, these publishers, they have to want to be bought. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like, Sony's just not going to walk in the building and say, okay, I want to buy you. Let's sit down. They could say, hey, you guys can F off. We're doing just fine. You know what I mean? EA, for instance, is doing very well with Apex. They did very well with Jedi Fallen Order. They've already said they got 3 more Star Wars games in development, and none of them are Battlefront. You know what I mean? So they're doing pretty good. Apex is still bringing in like billions of dollars in revenue. And then you got stuff like GTA. Of course, GTA 5 is still in the NPD, and the game came out on 2 generations of consoles ago. You know what I mean? So it's going to be really interesting to see. I do think that they're making a couple of right moves, but if I didn't see something like this happening from Sony, I think that this is just my opinion, but if they didn't fall in line and make some seriously big moves, they could end up being sort of this boutique console where you get in these high quality but lower quantity game titles, and that's pretty much what you're known for. You know what I mean? Because once Microsoft starts popping off, how are they going to be able to compete with 4, 6, maybe even 7 AAA titles that are coming out on an annual basis or maybe 18-month basis? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Did you guys see the article? The other article about this acquisition of Bungie, where about 2 something billion was for the company itself, was for the developer, and over a billion, I don't know, billion four was actually for a employee retention bonus.
Yeah, yeah,
So-
I had brought that up right before you hopped on, Noof, because I was explaining about the they were talking about basically they didn't want to lose any of that talent. You know what I mean? Like they were just trying to hold on to everybody that they can, because I think like you said earlier, Noof, they're trying to secure manpower and know-how, right? Because they want to keep people in house that know how to. They're looking at Destiny and say, okay, we need people that know how to do that, because that's an area that we're lacking in right now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So they're doing what they can to keep them. You know?
Yeah, but at the same time, if you look at going back to the whole Halo franchise and where it began for Bungie, well, not really began. They had some games before that, Marathon and whatnot, but to really put them on the map with Microsoft and Halo, I'm telling you, like 80% of the employees that were deeply invested in Halo now work for 343. The whole, I mean, even Staten, who was the director of the first couple Halos, he's running 343 now.
Yeah, there's a lot of Bungie talent at 343. A lot of people forget that. You know, old school Bungie talent. You know,
right? And at the same time, that also it really tweaks my melon to to see the problems that 343 seems to be having with development when we know they have this pedigree sitting at a desk. I mean, what the hell? It kills me.
I think it was just like my guess, just based on how everything played out. Remember that they did the slip space demo, and then we didn't really hear a whole lot from it. And then, you know, let's face it, Halo Infinite does not look like the slip space demo, and I don't think it ever was meant to be. But they admitted in a lot of interviews that they were having engine problems, right? That they were trying to optimize it and get it working. You know, and it is demanding. I mean, if you're trying to play Halo Infinite on like a lower end PC, like you're not going to have a good experience. You know what I mean? So it's a demanding title for it not being like overly graphically intensive. I think it looks great on the Series X, in my own personal opinion. But I've always played Halo for the story and the gameplay. You know what I mean? Like, and just that, and going on that journey with Master Chief. You know, it never had to like blow my mind graphically, but you know, of course, in 2002, it blew my mind because it never been done on a console before. You know, so there was always that pioneering that Halo had about it. You know, and I think that we're still getting that. Remember, we're talking about a 10-year game. Destiny dropped with a low 60 Metacritic and hardly any content, and here we are, 8 years into the 10-year plan, and they're doing just fine. So I have faith. I think 343 kind of found their footing. I mean, they got an 87 Metacritic and kind of pulled themselves out of that little hole that they got into with the whole Craig memes thing. So I'm excited to see the future on it. You know.
Dude, they took that Craig memes thing and they flipped it on its head.
Yeah, they made it a positive, in
it.
my opinion. Yeah, they turned it into a positive. It's great to see.
You know, what's so funny though is that there's one of the hidden skulls in Infinite where you go up on top of this. I can't remember what exactly the structure is called, and there's like a shrine up there to Craig, and it's like, wow. This was done just in the past year because the Craig meme didn't start until about a year ago. And I mean, that's amazing. And another thing I wanted to touch on was, so the whole 10-year plan with Halo Infinite, if they do it right, it can be epic, because we're talking about, okay, I'm not going to give you any spoilers, but for those of us that have played through the Infinite campaign, we know how much of Zeta Ring we've seen.
Yeah.
All they need to do is start opening up parts of that ring as it's repaired or whatnot are made accessible for some strange reason why it wasn't accessible before.
Mm-hmm.
And you have your 10-year plan because the ring is massive, and the little chunk that we've seen in the campaign, wow, that's just awesome. And oh shoot, refresh my memory. The guy you fought in Halo Wars 2,
Atriox.
Maybe he's not dead. We didn't. I mean, we never
Did
found
you-
out how he died. Right?
Did you finish the campaign?
No, I haven't finished the campaign yet, but I've
You-
seen
you
every
need-
bit. There's
Okay. Well, you need to let the credits roll. Is all I'm gonna say.
damn
You got-
you,
you
Halo
got-
multiplayer for pulling my attention.
Yeah, you got to do it. Just pull the trigger. And I'm telling you, we got to go back there and go through it on Legendary whenever it pops on that co-op, man. It's sad to see that they kind of push that stuff back. But hey, get it right and get it good. We don't want another Master Chief Collection fiasco going on here, because I know you guys remember it. Noof, I'm sure you remember the whole Master Chief fiasco with
Yes, sir.
that whole nightmare. That was a PR nightmare, man. It was really
That's one of
bad,
the last
you know.
times Halo had a midnight launch.
I know. Oh,
Yeah.
you're right. Yeah. Because
I went-
I literally picked that up on midnight. Yeah.
I
Got
was
on a
in that
midnight
line.
launch, went home. I had to, of course, install it because it was the disc, right? It didn't have, there was none of this Game Pass or whatever.
Yeah.
You pretty had to go home and install it. And unless you bought the digital version, I guess. I had to go home and install it and the updates. And then finally sitting there after all that time, I'm getting ready to play it. My buddy's like, oh, everything's broken. I got to do the campaign.
You know, so I mean, I understand Halo made first-person shooters viable on consoles, but I do remember an IP. At the same time I was playing Halo, me and my buddies would switch between these two games. And Red Faction on the original Xbox was just as good as Halo, especially with that railgun where you could shoot people's hearts through the walls. And man, whatever happened to that game?
I don't know. I remember it. I mean, if I didn't have every original Xbox game, I had damn near every original Xbox game. And I didn't play them all, you know what I mean? But I don't know. I'm not sure where the license for that went. I imagine it's that somebody owns the IP, and then maybe the got lost or something.
So I'm trying to find the article right now. It's not coming up, but
If I'm not mistaken, I think THQ Nordic owns that IP now.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Oh,
That could be a good third-party deal that Microsoft maybe could jump onto, because well, go ahead, Bob.
no, go ahead. I was just
Well, I was just going to say that I do think that, and maybe we can all kind of discuss this too, because I've been thinking about it as well. And, with Stalker 2 getting pushed back to December, and, what do we think that we got to look forward to from now until basically the fall? We know that MLB The Show is dropping into Game Pass, and that's cool for the baseball lovers. I'm not a super baseball guy. I might jump on it and check it out. But what are you guys looking forward to, like, from Xbox, or what do you think could have the best chance of maybe dropping from between now and then?
Wow. Well, we don't have Stalker to look forward to.
Yeah. I was sad about that, man. That hurt. I was really looking forward to that game.
I hadn't played the first one, and so I got the first one on Steam, and I started playing through it, and I started feeling like, man, I really hope Stalker 2 deviates very, very far from this, because it was just so clunky, and it was, when it comes to a first-person shooter, you cannot throw too many RPG elements into that shooter. Otherwise, it just becomes an RPG game with, I hate to say it because I love shooters, but it becomes an RPG game with the hassle of being a shooter. And I hope it's really different. I still got it pre-ordered. holding out hope, but I don't know. They say they want to get the best game to the public that they can get.
Which I was surprised about it because, man, that showcase looked good.
I know. I'm wondering to myself, what's wrong? If you're got to take almost a 7-month delay, what is wrong?
Yeah, like I when Halo had the showcase, listen, I know that they freeze framed it and all that kind of stuff, but obviously, Halo needed some more time to cook, and I didn't want Halo to come out and be a Cyberpunk situation or where you're needing an extra 2 years to get the game, and they still don't have a next gen version of that game out yet. But yeah, I mean, yeah, they take their time, and it looks like it's going to be a really good graphical showcase. So, but me personally, I'm hoping that between now and maybe September, October, we hear about Forza Motorsport 8, right? I feel like that might be the one that might be on deck. And I think that I feel like we're about time to see some Fable gameplay, right? Like, I feel like it might be kind of overdue to hear about that game. The game was announced in 2018, so it's had about 3.5 years to be in development,
Yeah, I'm hoping E3 is gonna have something in store for us. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
So I did want to.
Oh, go ahead, Bob. Sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, Thember brought up in the chat about Edge of Eternity, right? And I don't know if you guys saw that. That looks kind of cool. And As Dust Falls, and potentially the IO Interactive exclusive. I think it was called Jess Corden was codenamed Project Dragon or something like that, right? That's Xbox exclusive from IO that we could potentially be seeing.
So we've got the news of 3 new Star Wars games. One of them has, and they've actually went into detail a lot more than this early when we're still in conceptual artwork at this point. But they've actually went a little farther into detail to give us the type of games that they're going to be. One of which they've already stated is going to be Fallen Order 2. And the other one, unless you were familiar with a little hidden gem of real-time strategy history called Empire at War on the PC, you wouldn't even know they were talking about it, because the individual that is working with Respawn to make this quote-unquote strategy game, that individual was the director of Empire at War. So I can tell you right now, this strategy game is going to be a real-time strategy game, and I don't even care if it's a rebranding with a facelift, because Empire at War was dope. Empire at War was awesome. You could literally fight a ground battle, then hop in your cruiser, go to space, and see where another battle was on another planet, fly over there, take care of an interstellar space battle on your way there, and then land and take care of business. It was such a good real-time strategy game. And if you go on Steam and you look at the Empire at War listing, you will see that there are screenshots of a remastered version that is in the works. So you put 2 and 2 together, and I think they may be bringing Empire at War to the masses with maybe a little farther into the Star Wars saga as far as storyline, which, if you haven't played it, you're going to love it. It's freaking awesome. I can't wait for it because, achievements and everything, and maybe I take a little after Slayer exclusive and being an achievement whore, sort of. Yeah. So, are you all into real-time strategy games?
Yeah, I used to play a lot of Age of Empires and Age of Mythology and Warcraft. So yeah.
That's a
Halo
negative,
Wars? You
Tower.
like Halo Wars? Negative, Tower. You don't like Halo Wars?
Nope. I don't really like strategy games. I couldn't even bring myself to buy Gears Tactics, and I fucking love Gears of War with a passion.
Well,
So,
I don't see. I didn't like Gears Tactics either because I don't like anything. That's why I can't play Final Fantasy. I don't like anything turn based. If you take my strategy game or you take my RPG and you make it turn based, Bob will say no. I'm not playing that.
Preach.
It has to be a real time strategy game where when I say it happens, it happens. At the same time, you're saying whatever you do happens. That turn-based stuff, like tactics, all tactics games can suck my toe. I don't like them. They're just silly. I don't, being able to move so far per turn, so many blocks. What? That's just, no. I don't like it. Makes no sense to me.
It's like playing chess.
Yeah, I kind of like
True,
RPGs
and I
like that. Yeah.
I like playing chess, but you know what? In chess, if there's nobody in the way, my queen can go all the way across the battlefield. You can't do that in a tactics game. You can only go like 7 to 10 squares, and then you're stuck.
Yeah, I honestly like both. Like I love like I say, Age of Empires RTS games, but I also love Civilizations. That game is amazing. I fell in love with that game when it was out on the 360, and man, ever since then, I love that series.
Yeah, all I can say is thank God sex is not like that. Your turn, my turn, your turn, my turn.
That would be something.
Oh man, I'm like that. My
so
genre
funny.
that I get away from is the roguelites, man. I can't get behind the whole like going through everything and then dying at the end and having to start over. Just no way. I'm uninstalling that game immediately. Like it's not happening. Shout out to everybody that I guess can get through them, but that's my genre. I'm not really too big into RTSs either, to be honest. But
Yeah. So let's Phil is getting a lifetime achievement award. He has been with Microsoft since the late 80s, and from what I've read, he started pretty low, and now he is the man that is making all the decisions for the platform.
I mean, he started out like where the bottom of the barrel, like intern, I think. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was like an intern at working with the developer he was probably getting coffee for the guys writing code. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah. So he's going to be getting this on what award show?
I think it's DICE.
Yeah,
DICE,
yep.
correct. Yeah.
Yep, DICE. Anybody got a date for that?
No, but I'll ask my wife. Sorry.
Check the TV guide. When's this on?
February 24th, 2022.
Okay. I guess we'll have to check that one out then, huh?
Jeez, a lifetime achievement award, and the guy's not even old.
Well, did you guys see where Sean Layden like retweeted it? It says, "Oh, you thinking about retiring?" And he's like, dude, I mean, like, what is Phil in his like 40s? You know what I mean? Like, what the hell? What's this guy?
Sean's over to grinding his hands. I want to get back to work. Maybe
I know, right? He's been sitting
I
at
thought that
home,
was so weird when people
just
started
figuring
talking
it
about
out.
Sarah Bond was going to be his replacement. I'm like, the dude doesn't even have gray hair yet. Why would he be leaving?
Yeah. Like it is, he's always in some like gamer gear and some like Converses and stuff. Like this dude's living his best life, man. And his whole career at Microsoft is just one big success story. He could probably write a book about it, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like starting from the absolute bottom and then becoming the co-CEO of Microsoft Gaming. And having probably several thousand people reporting to him. Is something is crazy. It's cool that it's good to see that he gets some recognition. You know what I mean? He is a man of the people, like Bob said. The guy, he's always playing video games. I've seen screenshots of him responding to just random people on Xbox Live that have talked to him or given him compliments and stuff like that. And, he's always looking out. He's probably the most well-spoken guy in a professional sense. Like, it's very rare that you hear him slip up or say something dumb. And I don't think you're ever going to get a big load of emails where he was just talking a bunch of trash about somebody. He just doesn't strike me as that kind of guy. So, I think it's well-deserved. Good to see that the head of Xbox is getting some recognition in the gaming world. And, congratulations to Phil,
That's amazing.
Congratulations, big Phil.
That just tells you the kind of impact that Phil's made in a very short span of time, relative to the industry. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Well, to be honest with you, the turmoil that Don Matrick left them in, I could have probably made it better. So, yeah. But Phil has done a great job. Phil has listened to the community, and I don't know. I mean, everybody says, the big meme is Lion Ryan. I honestly believe that, and I know it comes down to money and profits and shareholders at the end of the day, but at the same time, I honestly believe that Phil has the community's best interests at heart. He always has.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, he essentially saved the brand. I mean, and I attribute 100% of that to him. I mean, we were all kind of sweating, in 2014, 2015, when Microsoft was, asking that hard question, like, do we need Xbox at Microsoft, and Phil went in there and he figured out a way. He said, hey, listen, like, the only way we're going to be able to do this is if we start thinking outside of this box and we move to this market, and we, and we give them the hardware, give them the hardware, give them something to play it on, but let the software and services be the focus. And this is how we can start making money. And obviously it has worked because now the rest of the industry is emulating it. Look at PlayStation. Project Spartacus, right, is going to be in some way, shape, or form a Game Pass competitor, right? They're rebranding it because PS Now was a huge failure. And that why if the old school metric of hardware and boxes of games was the successful metric, why are people getting away from it? You know what I'm saying? They're seeing that there is success to be had there, and they're wanting to emulate it, and Phil, in my opinion, obviously Satya had to, press the button, and then we got that big Microsoft money, you know what I mean? But obviously, Phil talked this guy and said, hey, listen, this is what we want to do. I don't think that we should get rid of Xbox. And now, think about this community of people, which, I have so much, Aaron Greenberg, Sarah Bond, Matt Booty, all these guys are very interactive, always talking to the fans, always getting, taking feedback in stride, and, just really active out on there on Twitter, talking to the people and, jumping into people. Mikey Barrow has been on RDX. Mikey Barrow has been on a couple other shows. He's a pretty active guy, and he was always a cool dude. And, now he's back. And then we got Rod Ferguson back, which I always loved Rod. I always thought he was a great over there at running gears and doing all that kind of stuff. So, just some good people.
Yeah, shout out to the Costanza 007 in the chat. Just to make it official, will you please put the number 1 in the chat? I'll enter you in the drawing. You'll be one of 2. And I'm only giving away 2. So it's looking pretty good for you and Thember.
What's the game? What's the game that you're giving away?
The one on screen, Dismantle.
Is that on Xbox or PC, or was it?
It's on Xbox.
Dismantle. Okay. Never heard of it.
It is. It came out. I believe 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
It takes place in a zombie apocalypse, and you've been in a shelter for years, and you finally ran out of supplies, and you have to come up. And you're on an island. And the name of the game, Dismantle, is because you can dismantle everything if you've got the object like crowbar or machete or a shovel. If you've got whatever it is, upgraded enough to dismantle that item, you get the iron, the wood, stuff out of it,
Okay.
Yeah, you could just basically tear down buildings and take all the stuff and build your gear up and get off the island and whatnot. I'm addicted to it. I don't know what it is. I'm just, yeah.
Yo, I could probably get Mike Ibarra in here right now.
Holy crap! Make it happen.
Okay, yeah, I'm game.
You guys never heard my my Mike Ibarra impression from back
Oh,
in the
yeah.
Embassy Mornings days?
Yeah. Yeah. What does Mike Ibarra have to say about all this stuff, man? You know, it's
I'm sorry to say,
first
though.
of all, I wanted to say it's really great to be here, and it's amazing to be back at Xbox. I really can't believe that, you know, I left, and now I'm really coming back with the guys. It's really insane. Microsoft's got really good things going, and I'm just happy to be a part of it.
Wow, Mike, guys, what a treat, Mike Ibarra, ladies and gentlemen.
It was good, but I'm sorry, but every impersonation fails in comparison to Arnold Schwarzenegger. It does.
Oh my
That's
God.
right. Come on and do it. I'm the only one in here that it's going to even matter. What the hell would you want to bring anyone else in your show for? I am the superstar. I am the Terminator. I am the Sperminator. I'm going to get it all done up in here. That's why I'm here. I'm coming to bring it. I'm bringing the heat. You guys bringing the meat. We'll have a barbecue and we're going to kiss some ass and get to the chopper.
Shout out to Assassin Lupa in the chat. What up, Lupa?
Oh, Lupa! I'm so glad to see you, Lupa.
Oh, yeah.
That is my love from across the pond. It is.
Lupa, keep an eye on Timber. He likes to get a little rowdy out there.
Oh, goodness.
Well, cool. Let's get this podcast going, guys.
Oh, God. Let's go.
Oh, boy.
So who is excited about tomorrow and this weekend? Dying Light 2 Stay Human. I've got it pre-ordered. I'm ready.
It's coming out in 2 hours, one and a half.
Yes.
Oh, really? Is it not already out? So what, has everybody been playing like review copies? Is that what I've been seeing?
Oh, no, everybody's playing in New Zealand. Wink, wink.
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly.
Right. Everybody took a little quick trip. Heard. Yeah, I don't know. I'm actually kind of surprised. I saw a couple of things of it going on. I know they got like a big day one patch that's going to be dropping with it, but dude, I don't know, man. It looks pretty cool. You know, looks pretty exciting. What do you guys think?
After the gameplay trailer, I'm really pumped. I can't wait. Yeah. I mean, I was so afraid because it said, you know, it's Stay Human and it takes place 20 years after the first one. And I was so worried that they were really going to get away from the whole zombie aspect and we'd be stuck in like The Walking Dead the way it is now, where it's more about the people than it is the actual threat, you know, and after I saw, I can't remember who it was, but they were allowed to stream one of the side missions on YouTube. And it was all undead that he was fighting. And it had been undead for years, and it was disgusting. That got me excited. I'm like, okay, there's enough undead left in this world to make it cool and not just some douchebag that trying to hold some area over or some resource over another. So yeah, I'm excited about it. It gave me hope. Can't wait.
Well, I gotta admit, I'm a fraud. I've never even played the first one. I have the what do you call it? The expansion or whatever. The following, is that what it is? Dying Light.
Yes,
Following?
it's so cool, man. The following is awesome.
I have that. It's on my backlog, and I've never gotten around to that either. So I should probably try to load that up and play it. I think all the Dying Lights too. They're all multiplayer too, right? That you can play like co-op, right?
Yep, up to 4 players.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, it looks exciting. I definitely want to get it. It's just not really like a day one for me. We'll see what happens, and plus I'm hearing about lots of bugs and things, so I don't know.
Is the first one co-op too?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh, really? Like 4 players?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And
Because I own it, but I've played like the first like 2 missions of it, and it was cool. Yeah, I mean,
I'm kicking you off the podcast.
I was waiting.
Right
Listen,
Bro,
I was waiting on the FPS boost. You know what I mean? Like I didn't want to play it at 30 frames, but I didn't want to play it on PC.
It was boosted like 2 months ago, man.
Yeah, I know, but Halo, man, come on.
Assassin Lupa, would you please put the number 1 in the chat so I can officially enter you? We'll have 3 people going after 2 copies now.
Whew,
it's now a contest.
You gotta keep track of that, bro? I mean, if you need any help, I can arrange it or whatever you need.
I mean, it's not like we got 500 people in our chat. I've got it. It's covered.
I'd enter, but honestly, based on the video I'm seeing, I don't think I'd ever play this. So I don't want to take away that from anyone else.
It's like Zombie Apocalypse RuneScape. Zombie Apocalypse RuneScape is what I'm looking at. Right?
To me, I feel like it's like what do you call it? Fucking State of Decay mixed with The Sims.
Yeah. Oh man,
that's the vibe I'm getting. I'm just like, I don't know.
So the very first Dying Light was very city based, and there was a lot of parkour from rooftops to rooftops and climbing up buildings. The following, you actually make it out of the city into the surrounding rural areas with the fields and with all the corn and basically the rural setting, and it just turns it into a whole nother game when you get outside the city. In the following, you got dune buggies and cars you can roll around in. It's probably the best expansion that I've ever played for a game, because most games just build upon what they've already established, and the following really changed it up and made it a whole nother experience.
Yeah, I mean, I think originally it was supposed to be. Sorry, I sorry for cutting you off. I was just.
Oh no, I'm glad to hear you.
It was. I think if I remember correctly, it was supposed to be like basically that was supposed to be the sequel. It was supposed to be like its own game or like a spin-off, and then they said, you know what, we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna make it a DLC, like an expansion. And yeah, it was awesome. Like I actually played both the base game and that DLC, that expansion, like over the summer, and it was pretty much like my second time playing through the base game, but the first time playing through the DLC. And yeah, I'm with you. Like I think. For me personally, I'm glad that I played both, and I played through the base game first, because even though it doesn't necessarily build up on it, you kind of like it in some ways. It does a little bit. It kind of gives you like a little bit of a just a heads up of like what's happened, and like so I mean, you can go into the following and not be super lost, but at the same time, it does fill in a few gaps that do help you kind of understand what's happening in the following. And I have to say the 2 endings of that DLC are awesome, and it's going to be interesting.
Am I right in saying, Slayer, it has such an amazing opening to that DLC? It's like a leap of faith out of the city environment into, I mean, you're leaping off of a waterfall.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's so awesome.
Yeah, it's like, like spending however many hours, I think it was like, for me, it was like maybe like 30, 40 hours in the base game, and just being in like basically like the rural, like the towns and stuff, like, just being in the city. It kind of got stale. And then like you said, just being able to just go into that DLC and, starting off in the sewer, and you're just like, at first you're like, this is kind of lame. Like, is it just going to be is it going to lead into another city? Like if you didn't know anything about it, like if you didn't see any screenshots for the following or anything like that, that kind of makes you think like, where am I going exactly? Like, what's going to happen? And then you just come out to like this huge waterfall, and like you just see this huge countryside in front of you, and just like, wow, I'm going to get to explore all of this. And it's like, yeah, it's pretty awesome. And then like I have to say, the driving in that game is actually pretty damn good. They actually they did pretty well.
I was really worried about it when I saw the preview.
You can't what they can't do. And
I was seeing the preview about the
Destiny 2.
about the dune buggies and stuff, I thought, oh man, this is how they could really screw
they
this
have
up. But they nailed it. It was great. It was
You're right,
so
Chris.
good.
The MLB the Show was an edict from Major League Baseball. That's absolutely
Noof, you watching another podcast right now?
happened. See, Jim Ryan has
Noof, are you watching another podcast? You know that's not allowed, right? We can't advertise for others.
I got the. What the hell? What's going on? Must be audio coming through somewhere. I'm right here, man. I'm here on this show.
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
That was funny.
Weird. I mean, I've got YouTube closed on my computer and everything.
I usually have like multiple screens up sometimes on my laptop, but it's like, what the hell? There's audio coming through somewhere?
Yes,
Weird
I was
shit.
like,
I don't know.
I was looking for somebody who joined the show. I was like, who's that? Who's talking? What's going on right here?
That is weird,
Noof,
man.
Is Noof impersonating? What is this? Another?
Quick, run!
He's got a new one.
quick! Enter the chat.
Well, sorry about that, guys.
Hey,
No
quick! I'm
problem.
gonna need you to turn your computer down, please.
Yeah.
Turn your phone down.
Yeah,
Ah,
can
damn.
you get off World of Warcraft for once. This guy's sweaty overachiever over there. You guys ever seen Mike Ibarra, man? He's a gamer, man. You know what I mean?
Sorry
Like
about that,
this
guys.
guy's
I'm
doing
always,
like
I'm always really deep in my games. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Sorry about that. Anyway, back to World of Warcraft. You guys get back to your podcast, so I'll definitely talk to you guys soon.
So there on screen is my profile on Xbox Live, K.Y Bob.
No.
If you have not followed me, and you have entered this contest, I would request you to follow me, which I think Thember, Costanza, and Lupa have all followed me, and I will be sending that game to all three of you. I said 2 copies, but you know what? I got 3 people who showed up and gave us some love. So I'm going to buy 3 copies instead of 2. I'm going to send every one of y'all a copy of Dismantle. I'm going to gift it to you and send it to you on Xbox Live. Congratulations, all of you.
That's very nice of you. At least the game is not called Discharge. Discharge, Bloody Mess Edition. That would give new meaning to the game Back for Blood.
Oh my god. Oh man.
And, Costanza 007. Are you the same Costanza I have on my profile? I'm not sure.
George
I have a Costanza that follows me, but I'm not sure if it's the same one.
George Costanza is the guy from Seinfeld.
Yeah.
This is Costanza 007. So it's if James Bond and George had a baby. This is what it is. Right. Scary, right?
Hey, since we're towards the end of the show, Noof, I don't know if everybody, I'm sure everybody else knows.
Costanza 007 is on my list. You will all receive the game gifted on Xbox Live.
Good. But yeah, so Noof every Saturday he does a community game night. And I don't know if you wanted to do a quick little talk about it, see what was going on, what you guys are doing, or.
Well, last weekend we did Doom 2016, and let me tell you guys, that is one of the most underrated and underappreciated multiplayer games on any platform. It was an unbelievable time. Again, we had people from Canada, the United States, we had people from Australia, parts of Great Britain, you name it. We had a big crew, and it was a blast. Crazy Louie was there, the whole 9 yards, man. We were just having a great time. But we do it normally every Saturday. The UK crowd does one on Friday nights, and then they do it on Saturday afternoon, evening, depending on which time zone you're in. And then once they're kind of done, it carries over into the North American edition, which I kind of started up and started hosting. So, and it's kind of grown from there. It's pretty amazing. And it's pretty simple. A lot of people think, well, I got to be really good at a certain game, or I have to be a certain type of player, and no, I couldn't be further from the truth. We take all skill levels and types. We try to make the teams as even as possible. We do a lot of randoms, and then we try to weed out, the different teams, make them as fair as we possibly can. But at the end of the day, nobody really cares. Nobody's counting the kill death ratios. Well, maybe the odd person is, but for the most part, we're just there having fun, and shooting the breeze, playing some great games together. It's the closest thing you're going to get at this point in time in our lives to a old-fashioned LAN party, and we switch it up. We play everything from Forza Horizon to Among Us to could be Monopoly, could be Halo, could be Call of Duty, Gears of War, you name it. It's all over the board. We normally pick out a couple of games to play. Like normally on my nights, I do one game at around 8 p.m. Eastern. That's a 6 Mountain Time, and then for a couple hours, and then we switch over to something else. This week we got Rainbow Six Siege. It will be our first game, and then following that, it's going to be that new one that's on Game Pass called Rubber Bandits. I've heard it's nothing but an absolute hoot, and I look forward to that. So we try to pick as many games as we can that are on Game Pass, which allows more people to get in on the show, and we try to announce the games a couple days in advance. It gives everybody time to get their updates done or download the game or re-download it, whatever it might be. I always tell people when it comes to community game nights, a couple games you don't want to be on deleting is don't delete your Gears of War, whether it be 4 or 5, and don't delete something like the Halo Infinite or perhaps one of the Forza Horizons, because those tend to come up most often, and they're very large files to download. So try Call of Duty, but I normally have to give people about a week in advance on that one because it takes you only about 120 gigs to download. So crazy. But yeah, this should be a fun time this weekend. Thanks for bringing it up.
Yeah, no problem. I'm actually off on Saturday. I'm probably going to try to be there, man. Play some Rainbow Six.
So what time for Rainbow Six? It is 8 p.m. Eastern, so that'd be 6 Mountain Time, 7 Central.
Well, there you go, guys.
Got that. And all you got to do is add Nuke Nukem. I start up a party. It's an open party. You just jump in. You can't sit there and wait for invites because I don't know. I might not even have you on my friends list. So as long as you've added me, you can jump in. I'll add you from there. And hopefully we can make you a regular a part of that. Because a lot of people are regulars now, but we got lots of new people to come out as well. We're trying to get more females into it because we find they're very skittish and it's hard to get some of the girls to come out and play. But we welcome them. And like I said, we welcome all skill types and stuff. It doesn't matter if you're great at a game or not. We all have our strong games. Like I still love playing the Forza games, even though I rarely ever win a damn race. But I still come out and play and I have an absolute blast.
So, Noof, are you going to be doing like custom games for Rainbow?
Yeah, it's always custom. We don't play against like online people. It's always custom for every game. It's always custom matches.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good to go.
And what happens if sometimes a game only allows a certain amount? Obviously, you can have 16 in an Xbox Live party. So if we go over that amount, or what have you, then basically sometimes we do a multi-party. So we'll get a crowd in one party, like we did Halo a few weeks back where we had one big team and another big team. So we probably had about 12 people in one party and 12 in another, and just went up against each other kind of thing.
Okay.
Pretty cool.
Good to go. Awesome. So yeah, you guys heard it, man. Join, add Noof Nukem, follow him on Twitter, all that good stuff. And whenever, 8 o'clock comes around, come in and we can do up some Rainbow Six and maybe try out that Rubber Bandits. I gotta watch a video on that. You said it's like a pretty good party kind of like a.
Yeah, I think the only downside is like 4-player. It's like I think it's 2 versus 2 or 4 versus 4 or something like that. But it looks like a fun game. I've heard a few people talk about it. It is new to Game Pass, and I think I'd agree it'd be a great type of party style game. So,
okay. Hey, shout out to Dreadpool in the chat. Good to see you, man. Shout out to Red Dead Panda Gaming. Awesome to see you in the chat, man. Thanks for coming out. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's great to see everybody come in near the end of the show.
Loving it. Like, yeah, let's just keep talking about stuff.
they heard about the draw.
Yeah, right?
Oh, wait. They've missed the draw,
Where's
though.
the code?
That's so sad.
Hey, listen, if you're listening right now, this is not the end of it. We are not done. We will be doing little things like this to give back to the community every time that we can, man. So
Yeah, this is true. This is true. This was just kind of we had never done this before, given away on the cast, and first time for everything, but it is not the end. So
No.
stick around, hang with us, and you'll make us better, and we'll give you stuff.
Just remember, guys, to stick with it, and I have to remind my own self of it if the community doesn't. Is that don't let the numbers deter you, because it takes a long time.
Yeah.
Some people do find that overnight success, or some people have various channels or various people that can help boost the channel. But for a lot of it, I just say, come out, be honest, be true to yourself, be true to your viewers. So far with you guys, I don't see any BS. You're not trying to be things that you're not. You're not trying to, the whole clickbaity crap and things like that. And you'll get your audience in due time. It's always a struggle. I know that like I'm very, very, very small compared to even most people that you see me in the community with. Like I'm just shy of 1,800. But if you look at like other podcasts who started long after me, they're already surpassed and blowing past me. That's either a testament of their work ethic or the fact that maybe they do a lot more shows and content, which is a part of it. That sort of thing. So I just wanted to say to you guys who are still growing your channels and this podcast is just keep working with it and don't let nothing deter you from, going, oh my God, this is not working or anything like that. Cause trust me, it takes a lot. It takes a lot of footwork.
Yeah, well, we're doing this because we love it. We've all got our own careers and families and whatnot, and this gives us the opportunity to speak to the community on an international platform, and that's great. That is reward in itself.
Amen.
Yeah, I agree, man. Like just being able to jump in here and do this, and I started off listening to everybody, a lot of the old school podcasts, and I've listened to you, Noof, and Dread, and I've listened to all the big guys and stuff like that, and I just wanted to get my voice out there, and luckily me and Bob were able to put it together and make it work, and it's been an awesome ride, man, and the community is awesome, and just being a part of it, it's just been a great thing. So I just appreciate all the support,
And shout out to an individual, if he's listening, for bringing me and Power together, and he's not been able to stick with it because of his social anxiety issues. You know who you are, but it was your doing that that me and Power were able to connect on this passion of podcasting.
Yep.
So for that, I do thank you.
Yep. Shout out to that.
I tell you, it's not as easy as it looks. It's and it's not for everybody. Some people, like I said, they can get on and go all night. And other people are just like, just you can tell it just something happens. You get in front of a microphone and you just kind of choke up or can't articulate the thoughts in your head.
Dude, I'll be honest with you, Noof. So yesterday morning, out of the blue, I commented on one of Wilmie's tweets, and out of the blue, he sent me an invite and said, "Hey man, you want to be on Game Beyond the Box tonight?" And I'm like, "Wow,
that was awesome." Yeah, you were
okay.
on yesterday.
Yeah, I was really looking forward to it because it's so relieving to be a guest instead of a host. I could just basically sit back until my name's called or butt in whenever I want. It's just, it's so much fun being a guest instead of a host.
But the multitasking is the craziest thing, clicking and moving, and
that's why I got two computer screens going right now, so I can look up stuff and send games out on one screen while the podcast is running on the other one.
Yep. I'm gonna be looking. I'm probably gonna get a second screen for myself as well. So,
well, let's just say, like some people that are doing really well with it, it's just they have a lot more time. They must have the different predicament in life, because there are a lot of people that I know that seem to be having successful channels are definitely have a lot of time to commit to their channels, and that's a big thing. I mean, if you're working a regular job or 2 jobs, I don't know where you can find the time to produce and edit and put stuff out. You got, if you want your channel, you almost had to make that part of your job. Some people do. They literally quit their old jobs just to make YouTube and this stuff part of their everyday routine. It's crazy. Like I can't imagine, because that's a big gamble for me. I can't go and quit my job and then hope that the money rolls in. Right. So, but for some people that they're just in a better predicament.
One of my very good friends runs a very large Xbox channel. Did just that. And has been very fortunate. So it's a risk, but I mean, if you got the flow and you got the fans, then the world is your oyster.
But hey, at the same time, man, everybody started right where we're at. You know what I mean? And
yes, we did.
At one point, everybody was out there broadcasting to a couple of people, and that's why the core group that we got now, and the guys show up, and they show up every week, and they support everything. And I always try to do my best to jump in everything that I possibly can and just support the community too. And it's great because we tend to kind of lift each other up. You know what I mean? Like, it's not very rarely, at least on our level, I haven't seen where it's more of like trying to push people down. The people that I've associated with, you know what I mean, and where I've met people like Lupa and Dread and Noof and being able to talk to everybody. Everybody seems pretty supportive. You know what I mean? And
so Lupa has relinquished her win. Lupa says, "I'm grateful. Thank you. Could you please give the game to another person, as I will not be able to redeem it?"
The Xbox Live Party Podcast will send you a box of MaxiCads because they're good in any country.
That's right. Yeah. Really? Is Dismantled not available in the UK?
No, I don't think the codes work.
The codes
in another
don't
country.
work.
Yeah, I don't think the codes work.
Yeah.
You have to use.
Well, I'm not going to send codes. I'm going to gift the game through Xbox Live.
No, you can't. You can't game gift someone in another country either.
Oh, wow.
Really?
No,
really.
That is very bizarre. What the hell?
It's all because of
I'm
currencies.
surprised.
Currencies. Well, Lupa just recently tried to gift me a game and it didn't work. So. They say you got to go and change your regional settings and shit like that. Like, I can set my Xbox to be in the UK or whatever, but I did that and it still didn't work. It said this code is not valid for your whatever, the trade laws, according to Costanza in the chat. It's got that trade laws, currency, taxes, all that BS. So yeah, it's kind of fucked.
I don't care. I'll pay the extra taxes and currency law. I'll pay all that. I don't care.
Careful what you say there.
I'm surprised. Yeah, right.
I know, but we're talking about a digital purchase. If they would just give me the disclaimer before I sent it and said, "Hey, this is going to add this much to this," and then I could approve it, I'd be okay with that. It's just they say they want to bring the community together around the world, but at the same time, it's still separated that way.
You mean I can send dick pics to another country, but I can't send a fucking game? Come on,
right? Yeah. I mean, if it's a good game, you're going to get off either way, right?
Right.
That's right.
Oh goodness.
Oh well, we'll get it figured out.
Yeah. That's what I get for.
You'd have to have. Why don't you have Ash send it over?
Yeah, I'll have Ash send it over to you, Lupa and Themba. Ash is in the UK. There should be no issues with him sending.
Yeah.
Nope,
PayPal him the money and get him to buy the game and send it over.
Yeah, exactly.
Themba, where are you located?
Nicaragua.
Oh my goodness.
I am from Guatemala.
Guatemala.
So I live in the Arctic Circle. Yeah, I don't know. I'm
Power
really,
Man.
I'm really
What did you
surprised.
say? Someone at Joe Biden?
Please don't do anything to the Xbox deal. Here's a code for this game.
Please stop this transaction. Okay, we don't want to see this happen.
Send him a Leisure Suite Larry game. He plays it for 5 minutes. You're like, yeah, I'm shutting this fucking game shit down. These games are corrupting the minds of our nation's youth.
Well, Assassin Lupa is insisting to not go through that much trouble. You know you got a soft spot in my heart, Lupa.
Lupa, I will send you a picture of my bunghole.
I'm not going to listen to you, Lupa. I'm going to go to the ends of the earth to include you. And you too, Themba.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If it doesn't work, then I will give it to somebody else.
Oh, he's in South America, so he's down there with Fabio.
Oh,
somewhere.
If anybody ever comes across an extra code for Retromania Wrestling to send my way, wink, wink.
Retromania Wrestling.
Retromania Wrestling, huh?
Yeah, have you not checked that out? It's the unofficial sequel to WWE WrestleFest from back in the day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's on the Nintendo Switch, PS4, and the Xbox One. It's an amazing game. Sammy's got the same graphic style. It's got like Tommy Dreamer and a whole bunch of guys in there. It looks friggin' awesome. I had an interview with the developer, the main developer of that game, like last year before it came out.
Man, I tell you, old school wrestling, nothing's ever gonna replace that for me, man. Like when I was growing up watching wrestling, you know, I have no idea what's going on in it now, and it just doesn't hit the same. But
it stinks.
Yeah, I mean, when it was in its prime, oh man, I was all about it. I played all the wrestling games from back in the day, like on the Nintendo 64 and the original PlayStation 1, you know, like WCW, and oh man, so good.
Themba says the same for him as for Lupa. I'm going to figure this out, guys. I promise you. Thember is here every week. We've even discussed approaching him to be a panelist, but we've all stopped at that, you know, because then we wouldn't have anybody in our chat. But he's here every week. I mean, we love him.
That's awesome.
He's here every week. He's talking with us every week. He's diehard, never fails.
Wait, so you may be able to like maybe buy a gift card, no? And give him send him the code. That could probably work. Like buy maybe like a gift code for however much this game costs, and then send it over to them.
Yeah, I will figure it out. I will work on this over the weekend, and by Monday you will have a game, or you will have the money for the game. I promise you. But
all right, you heard it. You heard it from the man.
Yep.
It's happening. He is a man of his word.
And that brings us to the end of our podcast. Thank you all for being here. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Powerman 4K, where can people find you?
Oh, man, well, I'm Powerman 4K, and you can find me at Twitter at Powerman 4K. You can find me on Xbox Live at Powerman 4K. Please add me, hit me up, shoot me a message, invite me to a party. If I'm on, I'm willing to do something. I'm all about social gaming, so just let me know. If not here, then I'll probably be in one of your chats or somewhere else around in the Twitter spaces, checking out gaming stuff, man. So everybody have a good week.
And Slayer exclusive, where can people find you and learn more about you, sir?
Yeah, so I have, I'm part of this panel and I'm part of this channel, and it's been an awesome time. Really love doing these podcasts and some of the reviews that I've done, and I'm hoping to do some more in the future. I have my own channel as well under the name Slayer Exclusive Gaming. So check me out on there. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Xbox. I'm pretty much Slayer Exclusive. My name Slayer Exclusive is everywhere. Xbox, PlayStation, even though I don't really play PlayStation that much until I get a PS5. Still waiting on that. Just can't really find one yet, but when I do, I'll be on there. But yeah, like I said, other than that, I'm on Twitter. And that's pretty much it. Yeah. Right now, actually tomorrow, just want to add this real quick. Around 7 p.m. Eastern time, I'm going to be doing a live stream on my YouTube channel where, because I'm celebrating surpassing 250 subs on there. So that's pretty awesome. Nice little milestone for me.
Congratulations, man. Congratulations.
Thank you. And I'm going to be doing a giveaway of some Xbox gift cards. I got like 2 $15 gift cards and 1 $20 gift card. So, something to give back to everybody that's been supporting me and, just give back to the community and have some fun. Looks like I'm going to be playing League of Legends because that's what that game won on my Twitter poll. So should be a little bit of fun. Going to be doing like an hour or 2 hour live stream. And at the end of it, going to be giving away those codes. And it's going to be an awesome time. So hopefully see you guys there.
Awesome. And Noof Nukem, my brother from another mother, the man who turned this 3-person podcast into a 4-person podcast this night. Where can people find you, man? Let it out.
I was going to say, I've kind of turned a 2-man podcast with me and Titan Drago into a 4-man as well, because you got Cletus Arnold and you got Safe House Sam. That would be 5.
Yeah, you're the MVP everywhere, aren't you?
Good Lord.
Yes.
Man of many talents.
I thought it was a very important prick, but yeah, whatever. That's okay.
Wow.
Yes. Yes, where can people find me? Always in the gutter. Yes, the one and only Noof Nukem. And you can find me on Gaming After Dark Tuesday nights at 10 Eastern. That is 8 p.m. Mountain Time. And on Sunday mornings, a different kind of show, a little bit more down to earth, so they say, and a little more family friendly with Good Morning Xbox, another completely different panel over there. Look forward to seeing you. That one goes down at 9 Eastern, 7 a.m. Mountain Time. Great little show. And like I said, I'm one of the hosts of Community Game Nights. It was something, a lot of people think I originated the idea, and I will not take credit for that. The Community Game Night thing actually started when I was a member of the Console Corner. GKB and his wife She-Wolf, they actually started it up with Console Corner, but they didn't do it really regularly. It was kind of like a one-off thing. And then when the podcast kind of went down the shitter and then they ended up folding suit, I just kind of said, well, you know what, I'm going to take up the mantle and carry it on. And from there, it just kind of ballooned. And from there, then, like I said, some of the UK guys like Mr. Tushy, Animated Evil, they jumped into the Community Game Night and went, wow, this is great. And then they were like, well, maybe we should start our own for people that are in our time slot, which is what they did. And now it's extended even further than that, as one of the other guys who comes out has got one on the go now for the Australian time zone people. So yeah, it's ballooning and becoming a real a lot of fun. It's something that people should at least join up and take in at least once, because the fun, the camaraderie, the great people that you meet, even potential guests or panel members, you never know. It's just a lot of great people, and it's a ton of fun. I can't speak highly enough about that stuff. So yeah.
Like I've seen you guys like talk about it, and I think I just added you, by the way, on Xbox, Noof Nukem. So I think that'd be interesting to be a part of. I definitely would like to do that, because I love playing multiplayer games. So.
And we make it very clear we're there to talk about gaming and fun stuff. There's no BS. There's no racial shit. There's no religious shit. There's no political shit. And there's not even I don't want to even hear people talking about other podcasters shit. I even have people talk about one that came up a couple times, like somebody going on about crap game. Like, you know what? This is not the time or the place. Leave your opinions for another venue, because gaming is about having fun. We're not there to be chewing out and backstabbing and all the rest of that garbage. So,
oh yeah, you don't have to worry about that. None of that from me. So don't worry about that.
There you go.
And this is K.Y Bob. You can catch me, K.Y Bob, Xbox, PlayStation, Steam, Twitter. You catch me here every Thursday hosting this glorious show, and my very own YouTube channel, K.Y Bob, carrying the Game Set Live moniker. I just started streaming again last night, and shout out to the people in my chat that were giving me feedback on my stream, because my OBS settings did not transfer over when I built my new PC. So I'm still trying to get those fine-tuned in to give you all the best presentation possible. And thank you all for being here. It was good to see you, and it was good to be seen. Thanks for telling a friend. Good night, everybody.
Night, guys.
Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for joining.
Good night, everybody.